The preservation of the developmental biology film series was made possible by generous contributions from Distinguished University Professor of Geosciences Lynn Margulis, Terence Malick, Chelsea Green Publishing, The Politics and Practice of Sustainable Living, the Hardy Lane Foundation, the International Symbiosis Society, GeoBook Studio, publisher of The Biggest Picture, Hummingbird Films, producer of the documentary Symbiotic Earth, and supporters of the Lynn Margulis Archive at ScholarWorks.
at the moment, Tristan, thank goodness, because it's the first painted reed frog that I've found since I've been here. We hear them all the time, but these little frogs are actually really tricky to spot, and we were so lucky to come walking through here. We're down at the dam, but sadly what I originally wanted to show you is now underwater, which I suppose is a good thing. But we've got this little fella who's decided that not quite ready to swim around, and it's actually very common for these frogs to sit perched up on some leaves or some little twigs, and they make the most beautiful noise. But this has to be the most unbelievable color that I've ever seen a painted reed frog to sort of have, or patterns and things, and it's really tiny. I'm actually going to just bring my hand in just to show you. Look how small that is. Tiny little critter. And the only reason I spotted it, I can tell you, if it had its sort of more greens on it, I wouldn't have seen it at all. But the fact that it's got this black, orange and white on it, it stood out like an absolute sore thumb. But it is indeed such a beautiful creature, and I reckon that if we were to look hard enough around here, we'd probably find a couple more of them. And if maybe Brent or Tristan come past here tonight, we'll probably hear this chap and, well, the rest of its friends making one really big noise. But I suppose it's a beautiful sound, the chorus of frogs, isn't it? And we've been lucky. We've been seeing so much frog action. You heard the banded rubber frogs with Tristan. We've had bullfrogs fighting with Jamie, and I think Tristan too, and me earlier on in the year. It's been exceptional. So this is another one to add to the list. Like we do bird lists, I think it's a good idea to make a frog list as well. And I think the frogs are harder to find than the birds, so a little bit more of a challenge. So add the good old painted reed frog. We should have a little skim around here. Let's see what else we can find. It's actually really interesting. Let's see, we need to find a nice animal pathway around here. It's very wet, and there's been a couple of creatures that have been wallowing around. And we've also got to be careful for crocodiles. Like in an area like this, I probably wouldn't recommend coming to walk on your own, just because it could really be anything hiding in the long grass, big pythons and things. So just, of course, watch your step.
Today we are starting dissection of a frog specimen. We will be opening the skin to view how it is attached to the muscles. We will need a scalpel, forceps, scissors, dissecting needles, probes, dissecting pins, a magnifying glass, a dissecting tray, and of course a frog. First thing you will need to do is rinse the frog under lukewarm water for 15 seconds to remove any excess juices or anything that may be on it. And then you will need to pin it down by its front and back legs. On its back, with the ventral side up. The ventral is the belly. When it is on its back, you will need to take the forceps and a scalpel, pull it up to make a slight crease, pull up the skin and make a slight crease, cut, and then you will need, in the hole you have made, insert the scissors with rounded edge in and slowly cut up. To the chin. And then you will go down to the middle of the chest even with the arms and legs, and you will cut across to the arm, each arm. And then you will pull back the skin and take a dissecting needle and push it in to hold that in place. And it may become stuck. And you just peel back and push it through. And then maybe do this. And then you will take the forceps and the scissors and pull up the skin and go down the rear legs to the knee. And then take the skin back and pin it in place. And do that. To hold that in place, then go and do the other side. And when they're rolled back and pinned, you will see how the muscles were attached and how you had to cut them away from the skin